With the market rebounding hard off its lows, I keep circling back to the work-from-home stocks. I love this theme. They're winners, even if Wall Street's newfound optimism about the pandemic proves to be misplaced. Which brings me to Box, the cloud-based storage and mobile collaboration platform with a new cybersecurity kicker. Box is exactly the kind of company that makes it easier to work remotely. But this isn't the cleanest story. The last couple of years, stock's been a serious underperformer. Lately, though, there have been some important positive developments. Even before COVID-19 took America by storm, Box reported a pretty strong quarter in late February. Excellent guidance. The activists at Starboard Value started pushing for changes last year. They reached a deal with management a few weeks ago, with the board getting 3 new independent directors. Best of all, Box has been rolling out new functionality in their cloud security offerings, Box Shield, like automated malware protection. In response, the stock's now rallied almost 80% from its March lows. Can it keep roaring? Let's take a closer look with Aaron Levie. He's the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Box. Find out more about how his company's doing and where it's headed. Aaron, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Jim. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Box is a company that is uniquely ready, even though you could say that you fell into the space, but you were ready for the work-from-home movement. Is it here to stay?
Well, when we started Box 15 years ago, we had a really simple idea, which is you should be able to work from anywhere with anyone and share your files securely on any device and through any application. So we've certainly been ready for companies to move to a work from home or remote work style. And obviously, we never could have anticipated the speed and velocity at which that happened. But fortunately, our platform was ready for customers to be able to adopt us in this way. We've been working with our nearly 100,000 customers to ensure that they can collaborate securely and access files from anywhere. The big question will be, after shelter in place is maybe removed at some point, what about the work styles and IT strategies of this event are going to stay with organizations for the long run? And our belief is that this is going to fundamentally change how people work going forward. And companies are going to now move to the cloud even faster, and they're going to be changing the way that they collaborate, the way that they share, the way that they securely communicate and work with their information. So we do think that there's some long-lasting trends that will be with us now forever.
Do you think there were people a little too glib initially? I mean, for instance, I love Zoom. I had another Zoom event just last night. But my problem is that it's fun. And there are now people discovering, well, the servers are in China. Well, a lot of people Zoom bombed, including some in religious cases where there was an anti-Semitic bombing that I'm aware of. And next thing we know, hey, maybe this work from home, it's not that smooth. And we had Eric Yuan. He's very honest about it. But there are issues from work from home that people didn't anticipate.
Well, there's an explosion in use of technology today and digital technologies, both in our personal lives and in our business lives. And with that type of growth and immediate change in our work style and our communication and personal lives, you're bound to see some new permutations of risks and issues. In our case, we have a security technology called Box Shield, which helps companies as they move to a work-from-home environment. How do you protect all of the data that people are now accessing in these work-from-home situations? So if you all of a sudden went from maybe only 10% of your employees' internet traffic being on a home device to now 100%, how do you make sure that you're protecting against the possible threats of cyber attacks, of people accessing files or downloading too much data on their personal devices? So our job is to make sure that we're protecting our customers in those types of situations. But I think the idea of having simple technology that's easy to use, that works in the cloud, that's easy to deploy, these trends are now with us forever. And I think we're going to certainly see some new behavior emerge. We're going to have companies that deal with different issues. I know, for instance, Zoom is going to make sure that they pivot to focus exclusively security right now. And so I think Eric and his leadership and that team is going to be very focused on solving this challenge. But when you look at the rise of apps like Slack or Zoom or Okta or WebEx or Microsoft Teams, these trends are really here to stay now. And you're not going to be able to go back to the old style of working in a much more hierarchical, much slower fashion. So whether or not we're working from home, we do think that this much more dynamic way of working is going to be here to stay.
Now, obviously, Starboard, they took a look at you and felt that maybe this was a great theme, but it happened, of course, before they got involved before COVID, but they obviously loved your company. I like the guys in Starboard very much. There's a guy who happens to be a good friend of mine who is part of their mob, so to speak. And I know that they come in in a very genteel form. So you did not resist, right? You welcomed what they were saying. And I'm sure if you felt that they didn't have anything to offer, you would have told them, look, no, thank you. But they've been a positive influence, right?
Yeah. So when they came into the stock last year, they had a perspective that we were trading at a discount, that we were undervalued, and there were ways to drive greater profitability and greater growth. And from our perspective, we fully agreed with that. So we went with a pretty collaborative stance. We felt like there were ways in our business where we could drive greater leverage and greater efficiency. So this year we guided to 9 to 10% operating margin, which is a pretty significant step function change year over year. We also felt that there's opportunities to continue to drive greater productivity and greater growth in the business. And that's things like Box Shield and our suites, and making sure that we can help our customers be able to expand how they're using Box in a very efficient way. So we ultimately took a very collaborative stance with them. We came to an agreement earlier in March that we wanted to make sure that we brought on 3 new additional operators onto the board that could really help us continue to grow the business going forward.
Yeah, they're very good with security, too. Finally, I wanted to ask you, you were early on in this, but isn't it amazing how the leaders in business right now are tech guys? Yeah, when I was growing up, it used to be Heartland because of manufacturing, or it was financial because Wall Street was business. But it's really guys like you that are leadership. You try to figure out how much money to raise. You try to immediately figure out the displacement and how to help. What happened in society that the tech guys have become the leaders? And we think of them as business is a great force of change, and it's tech that's leading.
Well, I think there's amazing examples of folks like Mark Benioff, Chuck Robbins, Tim Cook, Jack Dorsey, what he did with $1 billion this week. I think, first of all, these individuals are leading platforms and organizations that obviously have a massive impact on the world economy, the world's communications. And so I think there's a sense of responsibility amongst these organizations that they have to step up, that they have to be able to make sure that we're continuing to drive, change in these situations. I look up to that group of folks. They've led the charge in terms of how we can all collectively give back. We have an initiative called Box.org where we help nonprofits. We're going to give some substantial amounts of capital, at least from our perspective, to make sure that we're helping with local nonprofits and local community efforts. But again, pales in comparison to the kind of impact that you can see, Mark and others are having right now, which is really, really, exciting and profound given the environment we're in.
Exactly. It's exciting. It's different. And it's the way the world is progressing. And I think it's terrific. Well, anyway, congratulations on the big comeback. I really like it. I like the gross margin. I like the margin focus. And you never lost. Oh, no, come on. It's terrific. Because that's what I think the street wants right now, particularly if the economy gets.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.